Hey everybody, we're back. We're still on day 2. We're still in Mosley's office. I just loaded up my game, and I think I've encountered a bug because she's just kind of chilling here. So I'm not entirely sure what I can do. So we're actually going to take the map because I can't move out of his office. Like, I can click all kinds of things and I can't go anywhere. One thing I don't think I did, and I can't remember if I checked the newspaper.
Hello, beautiful. It's me.
The excitement of seeing you is killing me.
Grace is always so happy. Okay. I did not look at the newspaper this morning. Well, day 2 morning. You get it.
Times dated June 19th, 1993. A front-page article describes the most recent of the voodoo murders. Gabriel scans it but learns nothing new. The article reiterates that the voodoo aspect of the crime is faked. Gabriel shivers. It looked real enough to him. Elsewhere, there's an article about the history of Jackson Square, called the Plaza d'Armes under French rule. It was used for executions, firing squads, hangings, even impalement and breaking on the wheel. Yikes! Of course, these days, it's mostly a hangout for tourists, street musicians, and local artists. Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day. Chances of a dark star rising on this day. Do not trust your instincts.
I feel a dark star rising, all right. Rawr.
Okay. So yeah, I missed that part. And I don't think I've talked to her either.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
What's up? Oh, let's see. There's really nothing about
Tell
her,
me
I
about
don't
you.
think.
What do you want to know?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't think there's anything of value there. Okay, other bits and pieces of things I should get and do. Is there anything else in the box?
The box has Gabriel's name on it.
Is there anything else in the
I
box?
can go through the rest of that stuff some other time.
Okay, so guess they don't want me to do anything there. There's still more to do at the police station, but I'm not entirely sure at the moment. Voodoo Museum or the Dixieland Drugstore. Just real quick, I should also have an option to go to, the mansion. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to leave well enough alone. We're going to go here.
Hello? Huh?
Yep.
Bonjour, Monsieur Walker.
Bienvenue, Madame Casano. Comment ça va? How you be feeling today?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Walker. I'm certain someone's buried a sleep knot bag somewhere near my steps. I haven't slept a wink, not in weeks.
Now, don't that beat all? Gonna need some easy night candles then, huh?
Do you think that would help? I do hope you're right. I said 3 rosaries this morning for Our Lady's intervention.
Rosary good, sure enough, but you burn them candles too, boy, you gonna whip any no-sleep gree-gree, I tell you for sure.
Very well, Mr. Walker. Put them on my account and send them around to my house. Oh, and there's another thing. I didn't catch her at it, but I know. Mrs. Lefebvre put stomachache powder in my tea at the last meeting of the Creole Grand Dame. I've been in misery.
Now,
I'm
you
having
put
a hard
9
time listening to
pinheads
this.
up in the little box. Add a pinch of graveyard dust. Put it up under her front post step. That'll turn the trick back on Miss Lefebvre, and she be the one with the bellyache. I got the pins of dust right here if you want them.
If the Blessed Virgin will grant me her protection, I'll be safe from these practitioners of evil.
Oui, madame. Though, don't hurt to be proactive neither now, does it?
Naturellement, monsieur. Merci beaucoup.
Mais non, madame. It's nothing. Au revoir.
Au revoir, Monsieur Walker.
Shut up, dog. So, yeah, I just witnessed that whole thing. Well, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff here. No stealing sign. Okay. I remember bits of this.
The sign says, Special St. John's Eve Lagnia. Free bottle of lover come back to me oil, or master gambling oil with every purchase over $50.
Lagniappe. My French is lousy, but everyone in New Orleans knows what that means. A little something extra.
Okay. Well, let's just talk to this guy, shall we?
Hi there. Is this your store?
This the Dixieland drugstore. And I own it. Me. Name's Walker. Willie Walker.
Hi, Willie Walker.
Can you tell me what you know about voodoo?
This is a novelty shop, monsieur.
Do you think I'm stupid? This is a voodoo shop. Look at all this stuff.
These is novelties, curiosities. If people want to think they magic, it's not my concern, you know?
Okay.
Are you telling me that you own a voodoo shop, but you know nothing about voodoo practices?
Ça n'est pas affaire blanc.
What does that mean?
It mean you should mind your own business, monsieur.
Aha, we're pushing some buttons.
Look, I'm researching voodoo for a book.
I don't have your answers, me. You want to buy something, monsieur?
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Caprice encore.
What did you say?
Nothing. Them killings have nothing to do with my shop, monsieur.
What do you think of New Orleans?
I live here all my life, me.
Okay.
What do you think of New Orleans?
If you're not from around here, monsieur, you should sign up for some tours.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's the biggest night of the year in voodoo.
What goes on exactly?
I couldn't say.
Uh-huh.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What kind of snakes?
The kind they use in voodoo?
Pythons, boas, so I've heard.
Really? Do you have one?
Are you crazy? What would I want with a python?
What did you mean
I
when you
didn't
said
say that.
You did. I heard you say it.
You heard wrong,
I
monsieur.
accidentally misclicked.
I said no such thing.
That customer of yours, the little old lady,
Customer?
the woman I saw in here, Madame Casino, you called her.
I don't talk about my customers to men who come in off the street.
It's important that I talk to Madame Casino. You see, I'm doing some research and...
I can't tell you anything about her.
Tell me about yourself.
My name's Willie Walker. I own the place.
How did you get into this kind of business?
Now, why should I discuss my business with you, man?
I think we've kind of dead-ended that one, huh? I don't think I'm supposed to be here yet. But let's see if we can take some stuff.
I don't want any of this stuff.
Alright, well, how about the mask? That looks
To get the
positively
mask,
amazing.
Gabriel would have to buy it.
Okay, can I buy it?
The mask appears to be made from a real crocodile head. It's a mannequin wearing a crocodile mask.
Alright, let's just get out of here. I don't think I'm supposed to be there quite yet. Let's try the Voodoo Museum first. look
Welcome,
for
my
the
friend. Hello. I am the proprietor, Dr. John.
Hello, Dr.
If you have any questions, I will be happy to assist.
Great. My name is Knight, and I'll probably take you up on that.
Alright, well, first let's look around, shall we? We've got whips and shrines and candles and skulls and wishing stump. It's a little awkward. Painting and flags and walls and gourds and Dr. John and a snake. I want to know about the snake. Tell me about the snake.
A very large, very formidable looking snake is secured in a plexiglass cage.
I think you should stay there. But
The snake is too far away.
can we use the
The
snake?
python is quite dangerous. I would stay back if I were you.
Thanks for the
Alright,
advice.
Dr. John. Let's have a talk.
Could I ask you a few questions?
That is why I am here.
What can you tell me about
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Historical voodoo. Or the voodoo currently practiced in the city.
Ooh.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
The killings in the newspaper. I know they have nothing to do with true voodoo in New Orleans.
What makes you think the voodoo murders aren't being done by local practitioners?
Voodoo is a popular boogeyman, Mr. Knight, especially in New Orleans. Anyone can pretend to use it, just as anyone can pretend to be a black belt in karate. And for the same reason, to intimidate. I know voodoo in this city, Mr. Knight, and believe me, it is not about killing. Even the police have stated that the killings have nothing to do with local voodoo.
Yeah, but there's something up.
What do you think of New Orleans?
It is the only city in the United States, as far as I am concerned.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It is one of the important ceremonial nights in voodoo.
Okay, why?
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I am afraid I do not know the origins of St. John's Eve. I only know that it was a night of ritual long before voodoo came to New Orleans.
Do you know what caprice and call means?
I fear my French is not all it should be, Mr. Knight.
Do you know anything about snakes?
You have perhaps noticed the museum snake, Mr. Knight?
Yeah, you told me
They are
not to touch it.
beautiful creatures. Do you not agree? And the tourists seem to associate them with voodoo.
Okay, but then there's a reason for that, right?
Is this snake yours? Do you use it in your practice of voodoo?
I admire the spirit of the snake, Mr. Knight. But snakes, like the museums, can be quite dangerous to handle.
You didn't really answer my question.
I think I did, Mr. Knight.
Guess these are
So you
still
know
options.
nothing about the voodoo murders case?
I neither know nor care to know, Mr. Knight. My only possible interest is in how it might affect the public's attitude towards the museum. So far, it has not been an issue. No one has even had the bad taste to bring it up. Until you, that is.
Leave it to me.
What is it about New Orleans that you so admire?
It has a real culture of its own, Mr. Knight. Amid the horrid blandness that is Americana, New Orleans alone has a voice.
Spoken like a true New Orleanian. Do you know anything about animal masks?
I used to have some antique African totem masks, but they were on the point of disintegration. So I removed
How
them.
about specifically a crocodile mask?
Are you sure you can't educate me further about animal masks?
Unfortunately, I do not know much about totem masks. The practice was more African than American, and that is not my area of expertise.
Okay, thanks.
Well,
Tell me about historical voodoo.
Very well. I will start at the beginning, Mr. Knight, and will go on from there at your prompting.
Sounds good.
As you may know, voodoo is a grassroots religion, formed by the mixing together of many different African tribal religions and Anglo religions, such as Catholicism or Protestantism. In other words, it is a religion born of the African slave trade. But African slaves were imported not only by the United States, but also into the West Indies, where the French and Spanish ran plantation islands. Prior to 1803, the New Orleans area was owned by France. The French Creole in those days owned many African slaves. But the Creole did not permit their slaves to gather, giving no chance for voodoo to breed here natively. The Creole also knew enough about the corrupted pagan practices of the West Indies slaves to ban the importings of slaves from that region.
okay.
So how did voodoo come to New Orleans?
After the Louisiana Purchase, American legislators relaxed regulations. Slaves were permitted to gather. The Americans also removed the ban on West Indies slaves. Around the same time, a slave revolt occurred in Santo Domingo, what is now Haiti. Between the lifting of the ban and the Haitian Revolt, West Indies slaves began pouring into New Orleans. Some of them were free people of color, freed or escaped slaves. Some came with their white owners who were fleeing from the revolt.
What happened when the West Indies slaves got here?
They brought voodoo with them. The native slaves were more than enthusiastic about embracing it. It gave them power, Mr. Knight. if only in the form of a communal barn. Among the first meeting places were the Bayou St. John and the shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The early Voodoos were heavy snake worshippers, worshipping the one they called the Great Zombie.
Interesting.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
By 1817, the voodoo activities were beginning to cause fear among the white slave owners. An ordinance was passed to forbid slave gatherings except in designated public areas at designated times. The time was Sunday afternoons, and the place, Congo Square. The slaves and free people of color gathered to dance simulations of their voodoo dances, right in sight of Creole society. Of course, they also continued to meet in private for the real thing.
This is actually kind of interesting.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
There were a variety of kings and queens at first, voodoo priests and priestesses. But from about 1830, a single power emerged. This was a voodoo queen named Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau ruled voodoo in New Orleans for many years.
Tell me about current voodoo.
Many people think of voodoo in terms of magic spells or gree-gree. That kind of practice is actually called hoodoo and is only a part of true voodoo. Voodoo, the religion, has a strong following in New Orleans. In fact, it is growing quite rapidly. There are several voodoo churches or temples in the city, and others all across the United States. African Americans see it as a tradition all their own. Whites, and there are many in the religion, are attracted to it because they think it is exotic. I personally am more interested in the history of voodoo. Some of the new movements are copying Haitian or even African voodoo. But it is the voodoo of New Orleans that I find so intriguing.
What makes it different?
Tell me about Marie Laveau.
There were actually two Marie Laveaux, mother and daughter. Most people thought they were the same woman. Her continued youth added to the mystique. The original, the mother, was also known as Widow Paris. It was she that began the empire.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
The Laveau tomb, where one or both of the Maries are believed to be buried, is in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. It is a popular shrine for practitioners and tourists alike. I myself take tours through the cemetery on a regular basis.
Really? Do you have any running this week?
No, but the cemetery is open to the general public as well.
Good to know.
Are you sure you can't tell me anything
I was
about
just curious
voodoo?
because it was still
I've
there.
given you as much detail as I can, Mr. Knight.
Okay.
Tell me more about...
When the Widow Paris began to practice, there were many voodooians in the city. By 1830, she was voodoo queen of all New Orleans. The Widow Paris was a hairdresser for rich Creole ladies. She also paid household servants to spy for her. Between the two, she knew everything about everyone who mattered in New Orleans. She was not above using her information to appear psychic, to intimidate, or even to blackmail.
You sound as though you admire her.
For a black woman in the mid-1800s to gain power is an incredible thing, Mr. Knight. However she achieved it.
It's got a point.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She kept a pet snake, danced with it too. She held traditional voodoo ceremonies out by the lake. She took herself seriously, very seriously. But she was not above selling tickets for her events to curiosity seekers. She was not above using voodoo any way she could to make money. That is for certain. But if she had been in another line of work, in another age, that would have been interpreted as entrepreneurial genius, rather than a sign of fraudulence.
Hey, you don't need to convince me. I admire anyone that can actually make a living. Tell me more.
It was Marie Laveau who defined the voodoo that is truly and uniquely the voodoo of New Orleans. She invented hundreds, if not thousands, of spells, potions, charms, and incantations. These form the basis of the modern practice, not to mention the folk tradition of hoodoo.
Tell me more about
Her daughter, Marie Glapion, took over when Widow Paris got old. Most people thought it was the same Marie Laveau. Both Maries encouraged that point. The Widow Paris died in 1881. Marie Glapion had been reigning a long time by then. After the death of the Widow Paris, other voodoo queens surfaced, and by 1890, the cult was fragmented again. Marie Glapion just sort of faded away.
Tell me more about Marie.
You have heard everything about.
Okay.
What exactly is hoodoo?
Hoodoo refers to magic folk traditions of the South. Hoodoo is a bastard of voodoo. Many of the Gris-Gris are similar, but hoodoo does not have the religious aspects of voodoo.
Good to know.
So how's the museum business?
Those who truly seek to
I just got an
understand
achievement
are
for
few,
Voodoo
Mr.
Studies
Knight.
101.
But even
That was
one
actually
can be an
very,
audience.
very interesting.
Sounds about like my shop. So where do you pick up all this stuff?
Oh, here and there. We accept donations of any pertinent items.
Do you ever get any wackos in here?
You mean, besides yourself?
Yeah, besides me.
I do not care to make those kinds of judgments, Mr. Knight. All are welcome here.
That's good to know.
You're a big guy, aren't you? You work out, play sports?
I do not play basketball, if that is what you want to know.
Who, me? No, you just look like such a natural athlete.
I do find ways of keeping fit, Mr. Knight. After all, our bodies are temples.
You sound like Grace. I should get the two of you together.
Is Grace your wife?
No, she just acts like it. So what do you think?
It is
Yes, damn it.
unpleasant. The heavens are not pleased these days.
Nice outfit.
I prefer simple cotton to dead flesh, Mr. Knight.
I'll have to remember that.
Since he's wearing a leather coat.
This is quite a place you have here.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. I have dedicated myself to the preservation of this unique culture. It is gratifying to see others reap the fruits I have sown.
Okay, we're finally
Tell me
whittling this
about
down.
yourself.
Me?
Yes, if you don't mind.
What is it you wish to learn?
Oh God.
Why did you open a voodoo museum?
The subject has fascinated me all my life, and I wanted to help preserve the cultural heritage it represents.
What kind of background in voodoo do you have?
Let us just say I cut my teeth on it, Mr. Knight. It is in my blood.
Do you do anything besides run the...
No,
Oops.
the museum does not make me a rich man, but my material needs are simple. I prefer to focus on my one true interest in life.
What are your own religious beliefs?
My beliefs are too personal and too complex to discuss with a layman, Mr. Knight.
Just tell me anything.
I am originally from the West Indies myself, you know.
Really? What brought you to New Orleans?
I was drawn here for personal reasons.
It was a woman. It's always a woman.
Just tell me anything.
I am a vegetarian.
Really? I can't imagine living without meat.
That must be the hunter in you, Mr. Knight.
Just tell me anything.
I am not an
Isn't that
easy
unusual
person
for
to
someone
get to
in the
know.
museum business?
Not at all.
I gotta stop
My
doing that.
displays speak for me.
And anything
Just tell
else?
me anything.
Not everyone can come see the museum, so I occasionally do public speaking on the subject of historical voodoo.
Anything coming up that I might attend?
No, but then you have me all to yourself right now, do you not?
Alright,
Actually, I can't think of a thing.
Then let us discuss something else.
I agree. Bye. Okay, so, there's like whips and
A leather
stuff.
whip hangs from a peg on the wall.
Oh, hurt me.
Nice.
An authentic-looking pole marks the center of the room. Authentic what? Gabriel isn't sure.
Lots of things in
An
there.
official voodoo wishing stump. Rub it and make a wish, a card says.
Funny.
Okay.
I say the same thing to women.
Oh, some of the dialogue is amazing.
I wish Malia Getty were mine forever. Really. I mean it.
What was that?
Huh? Nothing.
I guess she would be the next stop.
A striking portrait of a turbaned woman is on the back wall. Gabriel wonders who she might be.
What else can we mess with here? How about the wall?
The back wall displays various voodoo items, such as offerings of fruits to the voodoo deities.
Okay. And get over here. I think I've kind of... There's a drum. We've gone through the snake. We did not hit the flags, though.
Gabriel doesn't recognize the museum's flags.
How about the drum? Can I beat the drum?
Please, do not touch the drums. They are authentic.
Authentic what?
Drums. Do not touch them.
Authentic what?
Flickering candles lend an appropriately spooky
I
atmosphere
kind of want the
to
hat
the
that's on this
museum.
skull over here. Look at that. It's got a badass hat.
Reminds me of a book critic for the New York Times. Looks like Jack Nicholson. Looks like Jack Nicholson.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. And finally, the shrine.
The voodoo shrine is filled with items that both fascinate Gabriel and also make his skin crawl.
Creepy. There's a little mini coffin.
This coffin is so small.
It's a monkey
A
coffin.
waste of some perfectly good wine, if you ask me.
Religious voodoo doll.
It wouldn't be much of a voodoo museum without a voodoo doll.
Okay, a thing of hair. What's up with this flyer?
Magenta moonbeam. Voodoo Inn.
A flyer advertising Magenta Moonbeam, a local voodoo inn. Her parlor is on the corner of Orleans and Dauphine.
That sounds like a good destination.
Wonder who that poor bastard was. Will that look sacrilegious?
It's a black
They
candle.
lend a certain psychotic ambiance, no?
I believe that's everything. Except the kick-ass top hat. Alright. Well, let's be done with this. I think the item I needed out of here. Let's do this. I just want to see what happens. Let's go turn on
What
the
does this
fans.
do?
Turn that thing off.
Oh, sorry.
We have air conditioning, you see.
Yeah, I see.
That'll probably be useful later.
Thanks a lot. Bye now.
Come back again.
Thank you for all the voodoo lessons. But let's see, I've got the St. Louis Cemetery, I've got... Still have the mansion and... Moonbeam. So we'll pick one of those on the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you next time.